Well, hello everybody, and welcome into the sanctuary on our virtual Wednesday Pick Me Up, midweek Pick Me Up. And today, as you can see, we're honoring our veterans. It's Veterans Time, Veterans Day, and we appreciate all those wonderful men and women who have served, are serving, and who will serve. And so we honor them, and if any one of them is looking in, we salute you and we thank you. We deeply thank you for your service to our country and to the world. And welcome. And if there's anybody here for the very first time, we're delighted you're in our company and that we are in yours. And I trust that if you benefit in any way, you will come back and revisit and maybe bring a friend or suggest it to a friend. And so let us now do that wonderful, incredible thing. The best thing we could ever do is to get in touch with our essential self, to be in touch with the whole person that we are. And indeed, it's actually not a person at all. It's energy, it's spirit, it's essence, it's power, it's presence, it's the vitality of life itself. That's our true and essential self. And so the way we do it here is to take a conscious, connected breath, because in the breath of us is the life of us that continues. It is our eternal energy and our eternal life. We like to honor it, we like to be aware of it, and we like to breathe it consciously. And as we do, it fills the whole mentality of ourselves, emotionality of ourselves, the physicality of ourselves, and the spirituality of ourselves. Couldn't think of a better thing to be doing, so join me now in taking 3 deep breaths, and know as you're breathing, I am breathing life, I'm breathing spirit, I'm breathing into my essential self and honoring it. And so, this is what I'm knowing right now. I'm knowing that I'm open to the essential self of myself. I'm knowing that I'm connecting with the moreness of myself, the greatness of myself, the genius of myself, the almighty presence in and breathing through myself. And the best of all things that I know is that when I do, and when I do it quietly, peacefully, in a listening mode, just in a present mode, to be one with it, and to just know I'm breathing that essential essence in and out. To fill myself with the idea that I'm breathing in a blessing and breathing out a blessing. That is enough to mend, to fix, to heal anything that might seem to require it, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. That's all I have to be: present, conscious, connected, engaged, awake, and aware. And so I allow myself to slow down, to be one with the breath, to allow myself to be still so that I can know this and feel this, to the point of merging into that oneness of all of life, whole life, full life, complete life. To be that point of light in a conscious way, knowing that through the point of light that I am, all of life is pouring when I'm open, receptive, awake to that awareness and desire it. So I allow the light to flow through me now as that blessing, to encompass all that life is, wherever life is. And in doing so, to energize all of life in a holistic way. And most particularly, I send forth that light to encompass the beautiful blue-green gem of a planet Earth. And to lift it into that realization that it is a godly creation filled with the essence of the divine, and that essence being available to everything and everyone on it, in it, around it. And I see the planet vibrating to the energy of life and light and love and peace and tranquility, with every mind and heart and every aspect of life alive in the awareness that all is one and there is only one. And the one that is whole, complete. And that energy of the one is indeed love, out of which all other aspects of the goodness of life flow, called by many names. Light and life and peace and beauty and power and wisdom and knowledge and joy and understanding, goodness and kindness and compassion, and on the litany goes. All emanations of love, love being life's omniscient vital energy. And that I am love's omniscient vital energy. And that all is love's omniscient, vital energy. All power is with me and available to flow through me when I allow myself to become its conduit. And so I'm knowing that I am in right time, in right place, doing and being aright, because of the life that lives in and through and by means of me, and because I'm awake to it and conscious of it and in agreement with it. So I bless and I bless and I bless and I bless again my own life in its own individualized expression of source, and all of life, all of the individualized expressions of spirit, and all creation. I bless. And to bless is to know the truth about self or someone or something that sets him, her, it free to be what it is created to be. Love and expression. That's what I'm knowing. And as I know that for myself, I know it for every single person and every single living thing in all of creation. God and only God, which is love and only love, light and only light, and lifefulness and only lifefulness. I send this forth now into the cosmos and beyond, knowing it is already responded to as I, in faith, joy, and deep appreciation and gratitude say, and so it is, and so it is. And so we are, my dear ones, and we're here to lift ourselves up, to energize ourselves, to enjoy each other's company, and to know that when I'm open and receptive, as we all are now, any great good thing could happen by means of you and by means of me. Why not? Why not? So, as I was ruminating and rummaging and musing in my mind this morning with regard to what it might be that Spirit would like us to be pondering right now, small little book of Ernest Holmes' thinking and philosophy, spiritual philosophy, came to mind. Can't quite remember the name of it. It's just one of his small little books and full of just little essays, but if anybody wants to know, I'll certainly find out. And this is an extract from this little book. And I thought, this is what Spirit wants us to be pondering right now. And he says here, we have many things to defend ourselves against. The manner of living is one of them. We are now told that one of the most important is the infectious nature of the ideas and emotions of others. The infectious nature of the ideas and energy of others. An editorial, he says, in the Journal of the American Medical Association stated that mental health and mental illness are just as infectious as a smile or the measles. The implication of this idea for all of us cannot be overlooked. Obviously, we're infecting each other all the time and affecting each other all the time, one way or another. And maybe it's good for us in this infectious time that is really racing itself out of our experience, as I see it. It's good to remember that there are all kinds of infections. And we talk about infection in a good way. Her laughter is so infectious. His smile is so infectious, and so forth. So since we are affecting each other, let's make sure we're infecting each other with good stuff and not the opposite. He goes on to say, of course, we are using the term infected in two different ways. We may allow ourselves to catch another's happiness or sadness, his confidence or fears, his stability or instability. If we permit ourselves to become infected with another's fears, this is what we in turn are able to pass on to others, and we will. So whatever we're infected by, we pass on to others. No doubt about it in his mind. And we can see how that can happen. It is staggering to think of what proportions a chain reaction of this kind could grow into. Then there is the hopeful idea that good factors are equally infectious and could be passed on in the very same way. Okay, so the question for you and for me out of this is, well, how am I being infected? Not just by others, But say, for example, the mass media. How am I infected by the mass media? There's so many ways we can be infected. And am I even aware of it? And here's the thing, you and I have the power to resist infection, but only if I'm awake enough, I'm present enough, I'm conscious enough to notice infection in the first place. That is, when it comes to negativity. You and I have the power and the capacity to resist that. We do indeed. But how many of us sometimes just sit gaga in front of a television set and we're just mesmerized by whatever it is we're hearing or seeing, and not present to our own conscious reactions to it a lot of the time. And that's where we get sucked into that infection. And that we can't afford to do ever, but especially now, when we're in a process of rebuilding and reimagining, and so very hopeful that the world can come together, and together we can indeed defeat disease and everything of its nature, whether it's a mental or a physical, emotional or a spiritual disease. Only when we come together with goodwill. And goodwill is something that's kind of prominent in all scriptures, really, the necessity for goodwill. And you know, goodwill can simply just mean wishing no one any harm. Wishing no one any harm. That's the first step. It's kind of the neutral zone. Well, I don't wish you any harm. But at the same time, I don't put myself out very much to support your good kind of thing. But at least the desire is, I don't want to do any harm to anything or anyone. And that's the first step on that ladder. But of course, those of us who are spiritually unfolding are much more deeply engaged than that. I believe that those of us who are actively, on the journey to return back to the self of ourselves, we're kind of committed to ourselves, to wherever there's a need that crosses our path, endeavor to meet the need if we possibly can. And you don't have to go out looking for needs. Don't worry, they'll find you. So it's the ones that cross our path. When they do, are we making the endeavor to meet that need, even if it's in some small way, if we possibly can. Now, we're into, we are peace builders, we are Imagineers when it comes to how can we create a world that works for everybody. And when we get that big, huge concept in mind and we kind of nod and say yes to it, say, well, where does the work begin? And then the work begins right where we are in building a better world for everybody. That means under my own roof, but first under the roof of my own head, which is symbolic for, the flow of mind, the flow of ideas. That's where I first begin. So that's where I have to train, like anybody else who's an expert. You have to train to get good at your craft. But some of us just wake up someday and say, yeah, I want to do this and I want to be that and so on, and don't understand that there's training involved. Otherwise, we all set ourselves up for failure, and that's not good. We don't want to be setting ourselves up for failure. We want to set ourselves up for success. So the job for you and the job for me, the task, the spiritual task, is to get ourselves together, and then maybe, just maybe, we might be able to help the world to get itself together too. So I have to be able to think in a way, feel in a way, be in a way, and do in a way that strengthens my resolve to be the difference that the world needs right now. But I first and foremostly have to be that difference in my own life. And that requires some commitment of time, effort, energy, and so on. So I have to engage in building a relationship with myself, perhaps in a way I've never done before, because perhaps even some of us never even thought of that before. I need to understand I am my number one relationship. I am my primary relationship. That's my primary relationship, the one I have with myself. And how good that is depends on how good my relationships are going to be. So there must be some time, invested in getting to know the self of myself. Next time you sing that song or hear it sung, sing it differently. Getting to know you. Here. Getting to know all about you. I mean, how many of us know all about ourselves? I think there are very precious few of us who know all about ourselves. Because if enough of us, it would take 51% of us to know ourselves as we truly are. In truth, the Spirit knows us. This world would be just the most sought after place to come to in the galaxies. It would be so good here. That's what I believe. So I'm back to the same thing. Take good care of your precious self. You're the most precious thing in your own life. You are. You're the most important thing in your own life. You are. Take care of yourself, and life will be only too willing to take care of you, because that's how it works. That's how life works. As I am to myself, so too are others unto me. And don't take my word for it, just test it out. You never take anybody else's word for anything. I don't care who it is. Buddha himself said that. Do not take me and my word to an earnest. Just because I'm the Buddha, just because you respect my position. He says, analyze everything you hear, as the goldsmith analyzes gold. And if you know anything about people who deal with gems and golds and things like that, they're very, very thorough in their examinations. So what are you doing for yourself is my question. What are you doing for yourself to keep yourself not just together, but to help yourself to flourish and to thrive? What are you doing for yourself? Who are you to yourself? How are you taking care of yourself? And I'm not talking in a selfish way. I'm talking about a self-full way of taking care of yourself. Guarding your thoughts and ideas. Guarding your emotional stability. Guarding your health and well-being for your body, guarding your deep spiritual self. What are you doing to take care of those 4 quadrants in that circle of your life? Because that's the pillars upon which we stand. Those are the pillars upon which we stand. Your mentality, your emotionality, your physicality, and your spirituality. And you and I need to be feeding them every single day of our lives, and not just 2 out of 4 or 1 out of 4 or even 3 out of 4, but 4 out of 4. People say to me all the time, well, I'm very good in that area, but I'm not so good in this area. Well, get good in that area. And there's nothing to it but to do it, as the song says. And how do we do it? Well, the song goes on and says, you got to have heart. Got to put your heart into it. Got to put yourself in there in your allness and your fullness to take care of yourself. And once you do, you become a spiritual colossus. And you only have to be somewhere to radiate all that healing energy, peaceful energy, loving energy, good energy around you. Don't have to do anything. And that's the interesting conundrum. To be all that we can be, there's nothing to do. There's only to be all that we can be. Figure it out. I'm still figuring it out. But you find yourself in being that you're doing in a way that is contributing and helping and raising up and making the difference and helping to mend, to fix, to heal whatever seems to need it, wherever we are. And we do this in a very quiet way, and we do it in a very simple way, and we do it really not even knowing we're doing it. You'll never hear a truly spiritualized being saying, "Look at me, I'm enlightened. How privileged you are to be in my presence." The funniest thing of all, and I'll keep reminding ourselves of that, the enlightened don't even know they're enlightened. They're just enlightened. Because why? There's no ego there anymore. That's why. Only the ego is into all of that stuff. I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm the other. You're not, I am. The enlightened do not know that they are enlightened. They just are. See, it's all about, the game of life is all about the game of the ego and getting the ego in check. And getting the ego in check is just like trying to catch that silver ball that Harry Potter's always trying to get in the game of Quidditch. It's that difficult. The snatcher or something, I can't remember what you call it, but used to. So where are you in your self-awareness right now? Where am I? I tell you, you can get so very busy doing that it's hard to even know. Sometimes people say to me, "How are you?" And then I stop and I say, "Oh, gosh, it's a good question. Haven't had time to tune in on myself to see how I am at the moment. I must be okay." That's not good. That's not at all good. And sometimes we make ourselves so busy because we just don't want to face ourselves. We have excuses. I haven't got the time. I haven't got the time. Well, we all have the same 24 hours in the day, and it depends on what our priorities are. I could tell you this, though, that I jolly well make sure I'm going to have some time for that by taking it first thing in the morning. At least I know it's done then. It's that part of the thing is done then. My spiritual practice is done then, at least and it's a good grounding for me to kick off, the springboard to kick off and jump off of into the day. Last thing at night is a good thing too, to check out the day, see how you did, see if you're pleased with it, and if you're not, say, okay, could have been better, but tomorrow's another day. And then go into sleep knowing that in your sleep you will get all the assistance and all the support you need to have tomorrow be a wonderful day. We have so much power when we wake up in the morning and last thing at night. What is the first thing I want to have on my mind, or what is the first thing I want to feel in the morning? What is the last thing I want on my mind and the last thing I want to feel falling into sleep? These are very important moments. The veil is really open and thin at that time when we first come into a day and leave a day. And remember, what you're coming into is a gift. And what you're leaving is the gift that has been given to you that day, your life on this plane. It's the greatest gift in any day. So we must take it and bless it and be grateful for it. And graciously then use the day in a way that makes the giver of the gift feel itself been recognized in and through and by means of you and me in that day. How sweet that is when that happens. I'm not saying any of this is easy, but then what is easy? And anyway, easy is just a word, isn't it? Hard is just a word. It's what I decide to make of either one of those words. Life is extremely very simple, but simple doesn't equal easy. Remember, you're in a sort of a labyrinth on planet Earth, and so am I, and we're always endeavoring to get to the middle, where the prize is. We're always endeavoring to get to that middle in our lives. But you have to work in a labyrinth. You have to have all your wits about you. If anybody has ever walked through a labyrinth, you'll know that. And so, my dear ones, I'm going to know for you that this is probably going to be one of your very best days, because you are going to make up your mind to be awake in it, to be alert to it, to be vital as you move through your day, and to make conscious decisions today, and knowing that those conscious decisions are going to further not just your life, but all life. That's what I'm knowing for us all. And so if all of us can know that, the odds are we'll actually succeed, because where two or three are gathered together in a mindset, there's greater power than just one. There's a great power in connections, conscious connections. So I'm going to leave you there with that understanding and that awareness that you, and only you, are the master of your mind, your emotion, your body, and your soul. Take it on. Know your power, and know it's not your power at all. It's the power of the one who created you, available to you in all its amazing, amazing magnificence. So use it or not use it, the choice is yours. Tune in or don't tune in, the choice is yours. Connect or disconnect, the choice is yours. What do you want for your day today? What do you want the rest of the day to be? To know it, see it clearly, and then decide that's what you're going to be. And it will be, because that's how the law of mind in action works. If I know it, if I feel it, if I see it, if I believe it, it is so. It has to happen. My gosh, it's just like magic, except it's not. It's just how our lives work when we're spiritually connected to something greater than our humanity, as beautiful as it is. So I am going to go get my donation now, and we're going to celebrate our enoughness and our plenty, and we are going to, in gratitude, just realize that out of the daily bread that's given to me and what I share from it makes all the difference in the world. It really does. So let's do that now. Let's take our gift and hold it between our hands. And if we've already made our gift and so on, nevertheless, put the hands together. They're very great energy centers in blessing. And say with me, divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love. And so it is. And so, my dear ones, thank you for spending this time here in the sanctuary with us, the few that are here. But it's full. It's very full of the energies of so many wonderful people, yours included. And just know this, that you came here for a specific purpose, and you came here very deliberately. There are no accidents. And so whatever it is that you came here to accomplish, to realize, just get in touch with that and know deep within yourself, this is mine to accomplish. And through the power and through the grace and through the blessing of my Creator, the lover of my soul, I know at the end of my time on planet Earth, I will be able to say, it is accomplished. And then swoosh on out of here into my next level, advanced level of experience. I don't know if you've watched ever Alex Trebek. I mean, he was a constant companion of mine as I engaged in watching Jeopardy. But he left in a beautiful way too. And he was very ready to go and very, very active right up until the end. On the last day of his time here on this planet Earth, he was out in his garden on the swing that they like to sit on and so on, and said he was ready to go. He says, I'm ready to go, and I'm not a bit afraid of my life hereafter. And I've had a very, very good life, and I'm ready. Now, wouldn't it be lovely if each and every one leaving this plane could say the same thing? Why not? But live your life and live it fully and put your all into it, because you're worth it. Life is worth it. And more than that, you'll make a difference in all of life. And so it is. So until we meet again, my dear ones, stay connected, stay tuned in. If we can help you in any way, if you can't get on to something, call us, let us know. Whatever your need is, if we can help you in any way, please do stay in touch and let us know in that way. And to all of you who are staying connected, thank you. To all of you who are contributing to supporting our wonderful, wonderful work here, so very grateful. Thank you. And for all the good you do in the world, and all the good thoughts you think, and all the good feelings you entertain, don't think they're not making a huge difference. They are. So until we meet again, I'll leave you the way that children always leave us. Mwah, mwah, mwah.